Hey everyone, this is Anthony from Boutique Personal Training in Scarsdale, New York, and the Fusion House by Boutique in White Plains, New York. And today, my good friend Glenn has brought me his product, the Dualbell, which works fantastic if you have a home gym or if you have a barbell and a set of dumbbells. So the cool thing about this is that you don't really need much to get an amazing workout. This guy right here is going to do most of the work. But the reason why I have these right here is to explain how things work and how the Dualbell assists with that, right? So normally when we have any type of weights, the way that it works is through gravity, up and down. That's all it can do. Now the limitations is that some people only have a smaller barbell as opposed to gyms where they have conventional big barbells that are about 45 pounds. People in homes don't tend to have those, so they have the smaller ones. But you also need to buy an array of plates with those. The majority of people will buy a barbell, the small one, and some dumbbells, such as we see right here. This fits perfectly in there to add it onto the barbell and add your weight. So you don't have to buy extra plates. All you need is one barbell and a couple of dumbbells, and you can have a very effective workout. Now, this is the ones that we use for our normal barbells, but they all do the same. It all goes up and down. That's how a weight works. These are actually even useful for some kettlebells. Most kettlebells, as long as they're not too big, you could apply this as well. Now, the reason why I have these two right here is to show the difference. Whenever you have a plate, the weight is distributed on the whole surface. With a dumbbell, the weight is distributed on the sides. With a kettlebell, the weight is distributed on the bottom here. Now, what the Dualbell does, it combines all of these with the barbell, which means you get the effectiveness of a plate, a dumbbell, and a kettlebell, which is fantastic. Awesome for stability, awesome for strength, awesome for even mobility if you're gonna work in that range. But right now, this is what I want you to focus on, which is the product itself, and how well it encapsulates whatever you're trying to use it for, and how well it's going to help us when we do our exercises, which I will demonstrate in a second. So as I was explaining earlier, right, we have a nice little setup right now. That's the Dualbell right here with the weights on it as it should be. Now, what we're getting here is the effectiveness of a plate. We're getting this distribution of weight on the bottom like a kettlebell, and you're also getting the weight distributed on the sides as a regular dumbbell. So you're getting the best of those three variations in one little setup. So here we have it nicely set up. I've chosen to put a pair of 15s on there, but you could obviously put whatever you want. You can go a lighter or heavier. These bars are not that heavy either, so most of the weight is going to be on the sides here. Now there are a lot of exercises that you can do. I like to consider this for the main lifts, which is the squat, the deadlift, the overhead press, the row, and any other thing in between, so bicep curls, etc. Stick to those 5 exercises, those 5 variations, and you'll be able to make the most out of this product right here. Now we have this setup right here. We're gonna start with one of the main lifts, which is the squat. Very simple. You're gonna grab about the length of here, bring your body underneath. Now most people, even some trainers will tell you to put it on the bone of your neck. I would strongly disagree with that. That causes pain, discomfort. I find it more useful or better for people to put it on your butt. So when you squeeze your back like this, these 2 muscles right here, if you feel it on the bone, you may have it a little bit too high and it could, like I said, cause discomfort in your neck. So we're gonna aim for that right there. Step up, take a couple steps backwards, hips back, come down and stand up. Now, although we're focusing on the exercise itself right here, what I really want you to notice is the Dualbell itself. Notice how if I take slow control movements, it doesn't even move. Now, if I start rocking back and forth, it does cause an element of instability, which is not really what I'm focusing on right now. Right now, I just want to show how steady these stay, unless you really try and move them, which in another video we can discuss how that can also impact your workout. So the next exercise I'm going to demonstrate is the overhead press. The setup is somewhat similar to the squat or many others, which is feet about shoulder width apart for gentlemen, legs, waist width apart for ladies. You're going to lock your elbows underneath so that you have stability. You can rest it on your clavicle if you want, or kind of sort of freestanding there. So we open our feet and simply press up and press down, making sure that the bar goes above our head and bring it back down to the clavicle. Notice how if you do a slow control movement, you're going to get the most out of the exercise. It's known as time under tension. It means how long are you holding that resistance. You want to get an effective workout, build strength. That's the way to do it. So now we're going to discuss the deadlift. For the most part, usually you want to start it a little bit higher, but this is fine. We're not going too heavy right now. Now, a very simple setup. A lot of people get the deadlift confused. Well, how should I set up? What should my feet do? Don't think about this now. I'm going to show you a very quick secret. Looking at me sideways, you're going to put your hands like this. This is it. This is called the short stop position, like in baseball where you're here. from here, you just grab the barbell, stand up. Notice that for me, my range of motion, here, I'm right there. I just pick it up. Now, a lot of people will tend to do this, which is round in the back, knees go forward. Not the most comfortable. If you start in this position, about here's where the bar should be, and all you do, keep your back straight and stand up. Right, so we're gonna do the same here. Go into this position. Now, I have to go a bit lower, but I would ideally start somewhere here. And I just stand up. Most of the effort is done through the hips, through the legs, not the arms. That's how you do a deadlift. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you a row, a bent over row specifically. You can do overhand, you can do underhand, you can stand up a little more if you want to target a bit of your upper traps, a little lower if you want to get more lats. Doesn't really matter, we're just gonna do a simple position. Now the same for the deadlift where you go into this position right here, we're gonna hold that same position for the row. Now instead of being here and coming almost like this, I'm going to bring my elbows up and hold this bent over position. Like I said, you do it like that, or like this. There are some differences in terms of the muscles you're using, but right now we're just focusing on the movement itself. So from here, just come up like so. Now, very important to note how those dumbbells are not going anywhere. Solid, I can feel the weight distribution, and the Dualbell is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is holding them steady and making sure that I have a good weight distributed on the bar. Now we're gonna do a bench press. However, for the bench press, I'm gonna demonstrate how you can add even more weight. This already is pretty good, but let's say I wanna go a little bit heavier. Most people tend to want to do so, especially for the bench press. This right here, this attachment, goes inserted here, and then it is nice and locked, and all I have to do is repeat the process as before. So I'll grab another dumbbell, lock it in, put it in there, and it's going to lock in the same way. Did you hear that little click? That's how you know that it's in, also from the fact that the clips are on all the way. Push it in, lock it, good to go. Notice how I've now doubled the weight without having to do much. All I did was put 2 little clips. So now we're going to try a bench press, and for this one, I'm going to screw it forward. These lines are a good indicator of where my hand should more or less be. Grab there, I'm going to lift it, make sure I can feel the weight and that I'm solid and comfortable with the weight. Bring it down, and then bring it back up. That's what we're going to do. Take a deep breath, bring it down, and then push back up. You want to go for reps, you can. You want to add more weight, same thing. Right now, we're going to leave it there. Look, and how solid that is. Nothing moved, nothing went anywhere, and I was able to do as many reps as I wanted to. Remember, if you're doing this at home and you're using these by yourself, always go within your limits. A good way to assess how much weight you can add or if you should add more weight is if you can do 10 to 15 repetitions very, very easily, feel free to add more weight. But if you do about 10 repetitions and it starts to get very hard, keep it to that weight until you feel that that's